Welcome back to Dog Food TV, another installment. Had some technical difficulties with some of my equipment, really more software related, but we back at it. So this is part 2 of the Super Bowl statistics we were looking at, Super Bowl winners. In the last video we did defenses, top 10 defense overall, really just overall defense of the Super Bowl winners, rush defense and pass defense. And if you missed that one, let's just pull it up real quick. For Super Bowl winners, there were, since 1999, there have been 24 winners. 17 of those 24 Super Bowl winners have had a top 10 overall defense, so 71% of the time. They've had 67% of the time they've had a top 10 run defense, and 33% of the time they've had a top 10 pass defense. So the statistics say if you make it to the Super Bowl, you have a better chance of winning the game with a top 10 overall defense and a top 10 run defense. Top 10 pass defense doesn't really mean as much for whatever reason. So we're going to look at the offensive statistics, but real quick, we're going to mix in this video a little bit of commentary about the Indianapolis Colts game. Defense, I would still say they played stellar, obviously, blocking field goals, scoring touchdowns, things of that nature. They had some busted coverages, that I think that's the only thing you could knock them on, but I mean, if I was going to be harsh, I would give them a B+. I think they play somewhere in that B+, A-. I think without the defense, you don't win that game. So I think off that, I would probably have to give them an A-, even with some of the blown coverages. Now, obviously, we know about the defensive holding or the illegal contact, whatever they call, on the Cooper route, and then the pass interference on Donovan Peoples-Jones. It's football. Penalties happen. Bad penalties happen. If you're a Browns fan, you obviously know all about that. So, it's just one of those things. It's nice to see that some of those calls are starting to go the Browns' way, because let's face it, if you're going to make a playoff run, if you're going to make a championship run, you need some of those calls to go your way. Simple. It's just as simple as that. I think both calls were warranted, but my main concern with that game was the play calling at the end. And when I heard Kevin Stefanski's reasoning for calling the run play, waiting until fourth down to call the run play, it made sense, because I guess he was thinking that if you call that run play, you're going to waste precious seconds to get up and spike the ball. So I can understand that, and that makes sense. And the funny thing about it is, when I looked at the statistics today, the offensive statistics through week 7, I was kind of shocked. The Browns are ranked 19th in overall offense. They are 31st in pass, which really didn't surprise me. But they were 7 in the run. So the run offense is there, even without Nick Chubb, which is kind of surprising. The pass offense, they gotta get that figured out. Now, let's go ahead and segue into the Super Bowl piece, because again, everybody else has kind of been talking about what happened with the game. You've probably seen that ad nauseum, so we're not really going to touch on that. Myles Garrett is the truth. The secondary is the truth. I mean, the defense is the truth. They got to unlock the offense. But when we look at these stats here, you may say to yourself that the offense may not be as important as the defense. So, and then we'll wrap up. We'll look at the team. We'll look at the defensive rankings overall, week 7. So let's get right into this. Super Bowl champions since 1999 with a top 10 overall offense. So you'll notice here that you have it's kind of a balance in the from 99 to 06. You got first, Baltimore was 14th, New England was 6th, Tampa Bay was 18th, New England was 12th, and then you go 4th, 9th, 3rd, and then when you get to 07, kind of a little bit of a drop off, 14th, 20th, and then you'll notice that it goes 1st, 10th, 9th, 10th, 9th, 4th, drop off with Denver at 19th, and then everybody is in top 10 from New England down to Kansas City, top 10 overall offense. Now you'll notice the teams that were top 10, really top 5 in defense, their offenses weren't really all that great. If you look at Denver in 2015, they were 19th. You look at Baltimore in 2000, they were 14th. You look at Tampa Bay in 2002, they were 18th. You look at Pittsburgh in 2008, they were 20th in top overall offense. Let's take a look at what they were real quick on defense, just to pull it up so you can see it. Top 10 overall defense. Baltimore was first. Tampa Bay was first. Pittsburgh in 08 was first. Denver was 4th. So you see there that the defense, the defense teams of those years that I mentioned, they were probably the reason for them winning the game. Now, if we get to the run offense, you'll notice here that run offense isn't really, it's kind of up and down. You got a bunch of different rankings. You got 5th all the way up to 32nd if you look at the 2011 New York Giants. So nobody first. There's nobody ranked first in rush offense on this list. You see the 2000 Ravens were 5th in run offense. The Bucks in 02 were actually 27th. The Steelers in 08 were 23rd. Denver in 15 was 17th. So you'll notice that run offense, it can kind of, it probably depends on the matchup, but again, these are Super Bowl winners. So, but it's kind of up and down. All right, let's move to pass real quick. We had 8 minutes. I'm gonna try not to make this 20 minutes long. All right, so if you go to pass offense, obviously you don't even have to look at it. The greatest show on turf, they were first. The Kansas City Chiefs in 22, they were first in pass offense. But again, with these winners, it is kind of up and down. And when they say it's a pass first league, I think that's indicative if you start at 2014 to 22, because you only had 2 teams, being the Philadelphia Eagles and the Denver Broncos, that weren't in the top 10. Some of the other years, I mean, it varied. So what does that mean for the Browns? We just talked about it. The Browns currently are in offense. They are currently number 19. They are 31st. 31st in pass offense, and they are 7 in rush offense. There was a team, if we go to our rush offense slide, the New York Giants in 2011. So it only happened, you got Tampa Bay 27th, New England 27th, you had the Rams 25th. So you can, Pittsburgh 23rd. So you can be bottom 3rd and it not necessarily inhibit you from an odds perspective in winning the Super Bowl. Let's look at pass. They're currently 31st in pass offense. You only have you have nobody in the 30s on this list. The worst passing offense statistically, Super Bowl winner, is the Seattle Seahawks. But you'll notice and you'll remember that they were a top 5 defense. Seattle was number 1 overall. They were 7th against the run, and they were 1st against the pass. So this current Browns defense, which this is a good segue, and then we'll come back to the percentages real quick. That's a good segue to look at where they are in week 7 currently. So the team defense rankings after week 7. You got the Baltimore Ravens 1, Dallas Cowboys 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 3, Chiefs 4, San Francisco 49ers 5, Texans 6, Browns 7, Titans 8, Bills 9, Seahawks 10. So number 7 overall, though, I mean, again, a lot of that, they were number 1. They dropped down to 7. We know that's because of the yards and the points that were allowed, but definitely they're probably still a top 3, if not the best. Still, and they'll probably get back to that as the season progresses. If we look at the rushing defense rankings after week 7, Eagles are 1, Seahawks are 2, Lions are 3, 49ers are 4, Browns are 5, Jaguars 6, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7, Chicago Bears 8, Chargers 9, Tennessee Titans 10. And if we go to pass, they're still number 1 against the pass. So if you, again, still a long ways to go. Health is people have to be healthy. Defense has to stay healthy. Can't really lose any more pieces on offense. We understand all that. But let's look at the percentages for the offense for Super Bowl champions since 1999. If you have a top 10 overall offense, since 1999, there have been 18 teams that have had a top 10 overall offense. That's 75% of the time since 1999. But here's the interesting stat. The 6 teams that didn't have a top 10 overall offense, 5 of those 6 teams had a top 10 overall defense. The 2000 Ravens, the 2002 Bucks, the 2003 Patriots, the 2008 Steelers, and the 2015 Broncos. So thought that was a very interesting statistic, and that is probably going to have to apply to this Cleveland Browns team in the event that they cannot get their passing offensive issues corrected. They're going to have a top 10 defense, which they should. For run offense, since 1999, 10 teams have won with a top 10 run offense. That's good for 42%. And 14 times they did not have a top 10 run offense. That would have been 58% of the time. So based on these numbers here, not being top 10 in run doesn't really affect your chances. But obviously, in the Browns case, they're going to need their run offense to pretty much stay where it is and not go down. As far as pass defense, it's almost an even split. Since 99, there's been 13 teams with the top 10 pass offense. So that's 54% of the time. And then 11 teams without a top 10 pass offense have won the Super Bowl. So week 7, getting close to the trade deadline. What does that mean, and what type of changes are they going to make? Obviously, they're probably going to try to find a quarterback. I believe they need to try to see if Tennessee will come off Derrick Henry for a 3rd or 4th round pick, because it looks like they're about to have a fire sale. So they need to be trying to replace Chubb's productivity, especially with the injury to Ford. I think Strong looks, Pierre Strong looks good when they hand him the ball. He has good burst. But Hunt and Strong, I don't know if that's going to be enough. So I think they need to bring in a running back and kind of stay with that three-headed tier, but you need a bell cow back, especially given the fact that your run offense has been the lone bright star on that side of the ball. So again, looking at the Super Bowl statistics, again, these are just of winners. The Browns definitely, with the top 10 defense, they give themselves a chance for sure. And, if they're not going to be top 10 in overall offense, they're going to have a top 10 defense, no question about it. As far as the pass offense, it's kind of split down the middle. If you're not top 10, it doesn't really matter. Same thing with the run offense, which to me, these numbers indicate that defense is going to win you the Super Bowl. Because if we look at the list of winners real quick, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. The Indianapolis Colts in 2006 did not have a top 10 defense. The Indianapolis Colts had the 23rd ranked defense. They played against a Bears team that did not have a quarterback. If the Browns make it to the Super Bowl, you could make the case that it could be similar to that. If you don't get the Deshaun Watson, let his shoulder heal where he can be there for a deep playoff run, or again, I don't know who they would trade for, but they could go into that game where you're hoping the defense can bring it home. And unfortunately for the Bears, they were going against the number 3 offense that season, and they just couldn't get it done. If you look at the New Orleans Saints, they had the 20th ranked overall defense, but they were number 1 in offense. And they played Indianapolis that year, and I'd be willing to guess that the Colts didn't have a stout defense in 2009. But you know what? We can look it up real quick. So the Indianapolis Colts in 2009, they actually had a top. They were number 8 in team defense, number 14 against the pass, and number 24 against the run. So, again, when you look at these numbers, number 8 might have been a little misleading, but the Saints, they came away with that one, and I think it was just because, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, it was who was going to outdo who, and that particular game, New Orleans was able to pull away with that, and then obviously Denver. Peyton Manning he wasn't the same quarterback at that point. So yeah, almost halfway through the season, and being 4-2, and I know this team hasn't been 4-2 in a long time. The fan base is really just acting like a person that's stuck in a toxic relationship and can't even see the positive aspects of what's going on because they're just so used to the drama and the trauma and the toxicness. So, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. Obviously, the frustration around the shoulder injury, the frustration around not having a backup quarterback that people feel is comparable to maybe what they should have had when they dealt Josh Dobbs. Again, I don't really know. I mean, 4-2 is 4-2. I mean, despite all of these obstacles, they're 4-2. You would think the fan base would be elated with that, but we're not gonna get into the negativity here. They're 4-2. That's a good place to be going into the Seattle game. I do think if you need to sit Deshaun Watson down for as long as it takes to get him healthy. The defense has shown that they can weather the storm. PJ Walker has shown enough that he can be serviceable. I think if you limit the mistakes, that helps. And I do think if you're able to go and find or knock loose a Derrick Henry, I think that'll help PJ Walker out even more. Just, having a back that when you hit him with the play action, it's going to it's going to open things up even more. But that'll do it for this installment of Dog Food TV. We'll look ahead. We'll talk about the Seahawk matchup, and hopefully they can improve to 5-2. And I think for the length of the season, you're gonna be dealing with the naysayers. You're gonna be dealing with even if this team make the playoffs. I think you're gonna have people complaining about the seeding, whether they 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, whatever seeding they get. You're gonna have people complaining about that. So it's got to block all that out and focus on the positive. So that'll do it for this episode. And Dog Food TV, sponsored by Dog Food Store, premium sportswear brand for Cleveland football fans. And we'll catch y'all on the next one.